Hi, welcome to Musicians on the Record. I'm David Ward. This is the show where we're getting the musician's story. And you know him, you love him. He's been on the show before. The director, CEO, founder, creator of Drumeo.com, Jared Falk, is on the show. Jared, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again. How many people come on more than once?
I've had a couple, but you are the first three-timer.
Three? Really?
This is the third time.
This is the third time?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
You were in
wow.
the first year, and now you're just gonna. You and Kenny Aronoff have been the folks who have been the kindest to me, and said I'll come on your little show and talk to the folks. So I really
All right.
appreciate that. So as we start, I want to just say hello to everybody. We're in the MOTR Studios in Portland, Maine. Jared, you are in British Columbia, Canada, correct?
Yeah, near Vancouver. So we're like 45 minutes east of Vancouver.
Okay, so go up to Vancouver and take a right.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Depends where you're coming from, I guess.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Okay. So let us know where you're watching from in the world, whether you're hanging out with us live or you're watching this in the replay, wherever that is. Let us know where you are in the world. And I thought, this seems just apropos. Why not start with an oldie but a goodie, one of the drum solos, where I think I actually first saw or heard of you. Let's check this out. See if you remember this at all, Jared.
I'm just catching up because the stream I'm watching is
Little
a
delay.
little behind.
Got it.
Yeah. This is an old video, man.
Yeah,
Where did you find this?
I found this online. Tell me about this. This is the one-handed roll video.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing I practiced a lot back then. It was one of the first original products I actually created was on the one-handed roll.
Is it?
And so that was probably like more than 10 years ago. Well, yeah, well more than 10 years ago, probably 12 years ago.
Oh.
And I ended up practicing it a lot. And I remember those shirts.
Yeah.
I used to get them from Snorg Tees, and they're just all these weird sayings that were popular at the time. But it's funny to look back on that now. I don't even know where that video is.
That's on YouTube. And because you guys are celebrating your 7th, at least, anniversary on Drumeo. And somebody just asked, are we answering questions in the chat? Absolutely. Get your questions in for Jared, whether drum related or you're answering life questions today as well, right?
Yeah, and you are going to give away that drum set behind you to one lucky viewer, right?
To one lucky viewer, I think it'll be my wife. I'll just give it to her, so so I can keep it here. So
Yeah.
so happy anniversary with Drumeo. It's been 7 years.
It's been 7 years since we started Drumeo, right? So that's like kind of Drumeo started after freedrumlessons.com, after drumlessons.com. Our original website was called Break Sticks in around 2002 and 2003. And then Drumeo was just kind of started as an evolution of this business. And now it's definitely like it's my baby, right. I would say. And it is what's going to hopefully be around for many, many hundreds of years to come.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it's a fantastic site. One of the things I love actually is you focus a lot. It's from beginners to professionals, right? And you do a lot of focusing on helping beginners get started and stay on the drums.
Yeah.
How did you choose to focus on that as well as somebody who wants to be a professional too?
Well, I would say there's like three different types of drummers, right? There's the total beginner, someone that just got a drum set today or yesterday, and they're going on the internet or going to a teacher and they need some help. Then there's like more of the casual players. Maybe this type of drummer played in the past, and now they're kind of coming back to it, or they were kind of weekend warriors and now they want to take it more seriously. So there's those. And then there's the third group, which is the professionals or the drummer that's practicing to be a professional. And so if you think about where a drummer would be at and the questions and the problems that they're having in each one of those scenarios, a brand new drummer, it's very different than someone who's trying to be a professional, right? They don't know, they have different problems. And so for us, when we focus on our education, we can't create education that necessarily meets all of those needs. It's just hard, just like considering it like a YouTube video. And so with what we do, like we try and focus on giving the beginner everything they need to get started, and hopefully they're going to be motivated and inspired to continue on and stay playing, right? And as a beginner, there you go through a lot of issues, like how to hold the sticks. You're getting blisters on your hands, your arms are sore, your seat, you don't know how high or low, your back is sore. And so there's those types of issues. The weekend warriors have different things where they wonder why they were able to play so much better in the past than they can now when they're picking it back up. And so we're like focusing on different things. And so that's kind of like at Drumeo, like we do have something for everyone, but each lesson is tailored for a different type of drummer.
Right. What advice would you give for somebody who, whether they just got a drum set yesterday or they're that intermediate gigging drummer who wants to take it to the next level to become a professional? Because I see you as a professional drummer. That doesn't necessarily always mean touring and traveling today, but you are making music your living.
Yeah, I'm a professional hobbyist, I would say. What I do to earn money is, what we help students play the music that they love. That's kind of what we do here. And I'm very blessed to be able to do that. And now, when it comes to the person that wants to become a professional, let's say, it really comes down to more of a mindset and then discipline. Right? Discipline, I always say success comes through discipline execution over an extended period of time. So someone like you who have been working at Musicians on the Record for so long, and you've been so consistent and so disciplined, slowly over time, you're going to see more and more success come from that. Same with a drummer. You need to, number one, know exactly where you want to end up. So you're not just kind of like wondering what to practice or who to take lessons from. And you need to understand where you want to go and what does success mean to you. And then you need to have a really solid plan to getting there. I find a lot of drummers just practice aimlessly and then they wonder why they don't get any better. Like, you have to have a plan. Otherwise, you're just going to go from this topic, that topic, and you're not going to be very, very good at anything. And so that's kind of what I would say is, and that's why in Drumeo, like I just launched a course called a Successful Drummer's Mindset. And one of the videos was, it's not about practice, it's about purpose. And it really is true. The older I get, the more I realize that, like, any success that I have had, whether in drumming or business, it's because I've had a very clearly defined purpose, even if I hadn't really have known that or been able to define it at the time. Now looking back, this is what it all comes down to.
That's great. I love it. Let's check in with some folks. We've gotten some comments and questions from Chris Lowry. How often do you break out the 26-inch kick? Big Bertha.
I had a 26-inch kick way back in the day at DW, and I sold it. I don't even know if we have one now. We might have a D drum 26-inch kick, but I don't even know if I have one. I'm more of like a 22-inch kick.
Yeah, what is your favorite setup right now?
Yeah, my favorite setup, like what I practice on at home, it's like a 20th anniversary recording custom kit. So it's a 10, 12, 14-inch tom, and it's just a simple 5-piece kit with a 22-inch bass drum. And that's like perfect for me. If I have a recording custom kit here at our studio, and with that I got all the toms from like 8 till 18, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And then I got 2 bass drums, a 20 and a 22. because there's certain things you want a 20 for, certain things you want a 22 for.
20 would be,
but I don't go bigger than that.
20 would be more jazz.
No, not necessarily.
No.
20 is like you can use for any sort of pop stuff if you want a lot more punch, a lot more attack, shorter note, less resonance, higher fundamental pitch. So yeah, I think plus a setup. If you need less, if you have less space, you want to move the toms lower. Like there's many reasons you could use a 20 as opposed to a 22.
Very true. Yeah, and a little bit lighter if you're carrying it to a gig, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Now I remember earlier on you had this beautiful custom wood DW drum set, which at the time you said was your dream kit. Is that still the same, or have you had another dream kit come in?
That was at the time, and you know it's funny because I'm very lucky now that I get to do this, and we've built an audience, and we have people watching our videos, and that has now new drums are like it's more common. Like Yamaha just sent us their live oak hybrid kit, and it's a beautiful drum set. I'm like, this is my dream kit. And the absolute hybrid maple that Yamaha we worked with them on getting, that was my dream kit. And the Steve Gadd kind of recording custom piano black kit, that was my dream kit. And we got that, and I don't even play the DW kit anymore. Like I haven't touched it in probably 5 years. Like other artists come and they play it. Yeah, they play it, but I don't play it. And so it's still a great drum set, but it's just like it's not my sound anymore. I would say DW has a very specific sound. Sure. And when I sit down and play it, it's not like I don't mind it, but I much prefer, the Yamaha drums, especially. I've been getting into Sonar. I went to and saw and visited Sonar. Tama drums are great. I actually been wanting to try Gretsch, Ludwig. There's so many great drum companies. There's no way I'm choosing. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Why choose? Yeah.
Why choose when you got the world at your fingertips there? Actually, Casey Lobo was asking, when is Sir Dr. Steve Gadd going to be on Drumeo? By the way,
we have been working on this, and if Steve is out there and he's watching, please come to Drumeo. The thing is he's super busy. Like he's touring with so many different people, and playing is really what he does. Like he doesn't do clinician circuits or do festival circuits. He goes and plays stadiums, and I would love to have him out. And it's definitely he's at the top of our wish list. Right.
Many people's wish list there with Steve Gadd. Other question from Juan Juarez. Hi, Juan, wherever you are in the world. What's your favorite metal band? Juan is asking.
I actually don't have a favorite metal band. I have favorite metal drummers because we have them out. Yeah. But I don't really listen to metal. Okay. Like if I listen to music, I listen to maybe like heavier rock, but I would definitely not classify it as metal.
Got it. Who are some of your favorite metal drummers then?
Yeah, like, I hung out with Gene Hoglan. Gene Hoglan is a great metal drummer. And a good friend, the person who hooked us up with Gene was Ash Pearson, who plays for Revocation. Right. So I love hanging out with Ash. And Derek Roddy was here, and getting to hang out with Derek Roddy was really, really fun. A guy named Dan Wilding, who, I don't even know what band he plays for, but he is one of the cleanest metal drummers I've seen, and he plays effortlessly. Yeah. And so you got to try and find, if you're watching and you haven't seen his YouTube video and you like metal, you should go and check it out, because that's how you do it. He's hardly even working. He's just kind of floating over the drums.
Yeah, some of those guys, the amazing amount of technique they have is just insane, right?
Yeah.
Both hands and feet. We're hanging live with Jared Falk on Musicians on the Record from Drumeo.com. I'd love to hear how many folks who are watching and are live with us are Drumeo Edge members, because I've got some questions too. We're halfway through Rock Drumming Masterclass with Todd Zuckerman, And I'm a participant as well as a fan. So I mean, Todd is a beast of a drummer, first of all, and just seems like a really fun guy to take a class and lessons with. Tell us some of the stories, maybe behind the scenes things with recording all of that, and what kind of feedback have you been getting with RDM?
Well, we don't even really ask for feedback on the course until the course is over. Then we send everyone a questionnaire and stuff. But if you go and, I mean, just look at the weekly comments. Right. It's all the things that, you know, everyone who's not subscribed to that or not subscribed to Drumeo Edge, like there's this whole other world going on inside of Drumeo, whether you're a Rock Drumeo Masterclass subscriber or whether you're a Drumeo Edge subscriber. And so there's like 100 to 200 comments on almost each of those new lessons that Todd has been releasing, and he's just been doing such a great job. And so for people who don't know about it, it's like we create these kind of like semester style courses where we try and take away information, because we find like with the internet now, there's just information overload. So what we've said is like, let's not figure out how much we could teach them and how many hours of videos we could give them, because that's what Drumeo is. Drumeo is just like an unending library of videos, which is great. But with Rock Drumeo Masterclass, let's kind of strip everything away and only give them what they need. Be very clear about what specific assignments are required each week for each level of drummer. And then if they have any issues and have the questions, they can message the instructor and get personalized feedback directly from that instructor. And so that is essentially what people signed up for with the Rock Drumeo Masterclass, and they get like a Hall of Fame legendary rock drummer as their teacher. I just think it's insane that, first of all, Todd was willing to do it and how hard he's been working at it. He's connecting with so many students, and so I'm very proud of that one. So I don't know if that answered your question or whatever, but that's like the one thing that we offer is those semester style courses. And then the Drumeo Edge membership is separate from that.
Well, and that really goes back to what you were saying a minute ago of like, it's important to have a plan of what you're going to practice or what you're going to play, because I agree, it's information overload out there. So to have a specific goal is very important.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you share a little bit, any kind of story come to mind with Todd so far of you know, when you guys were in the studio recording this, anything that stood out, a memory for you?
Well, I asked Todd to put the package together in end of August. And at first, I think I sent him an email. He like right away called me and he's just like, how am I going to do this? I don't have enough time. You know, he did methods and mechanics, and these were massive undertakings. I was telling him I wanted to record in like 6 weeks, and he's just like, how am I going to do this? And so he basically said for the next 6 weeks, he was like furiously typing his script and all this, and then he had to go play rock shows in the evening to take him away from that. And so it became like all encompassing, I think, for a while. But he was so prepared. He came with probably 100 or 200 page document where everything was scripted. Everything was so well thought out. Amazing. And he was super organized. The only other story there is the trip up in a helicopter. Yeah. He was such a good sport. Okay, because you know this we're dealing with rock stars here, right? So rock stars have backline who have specific dietary requirements. You know, Todd has great taste. So he likes Hendrick's gin, he likes blue cheese stuffed olives, he likes a specific kind of soda water, and I like all those same things. So whenever he tells me what he likes, I'm like, okay, I put it on my list. But so we're like, okay, we're going up in a helicopter, and the weather says it's going to be rainy and like basically freezing temperatures. And I just remember him being like, oh, okay. And then we were all standing in the rain, the freezing rain. He was sitting in the helicopter just trying to keep his hands warm. Right. Because he had to perform. Sure. Right. we were just sitting there, and then he came out and he just absolutely knocked it out of the park. So I was impressed with that. I think he's a good sport about it, because he could have just said, "Nah, I can't play in this."
Right.
But he is a good sport.
It's a true rock star, right? So, and whose idea was? I thought the video was great. How did that idea come about to get in a helicopter and fly up a mountain?
I've wanted to do that idea for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, way back in the day, we hiked a drum set up a mountain called Mount Chiem, close by to where we are here, and it was our first kind of time getting out of the studio, because what we really want to do is create pieces of content that will reach definitely drummers, but also people who aren't drummers. And hopefully it'd be like, hey, that looks really fun. You know, I like skiing, and so I saw snow, so I stopped scrolling, and now I'm like interested in this. And hey, maybe I should play drums. And so we did that years ago, right? Or I hiked the drum set up, and I did a little solo and some stuff. This is like, Facebook wasn't even really popular when we were doing that. And I don't think YouTube was out yet. So I think we were still self-hosting videos. And so then we did it again with Quibus when we were marketing and selling his Quibus Method package. And that video got like 6 million views, 7 million maybe. And then we did it again with Maytel. But we were just driving up. Yeah. So I always wanted to like get some helicopters and go to more of a remote location.
Yeah. And the helicopter ride, was that all good, or any hairy moments there?
Yeah, the pilot was incredibly well experienced, and so he had just got back from a trip a couple months ago from flying around the world in his helicopter. Amazing. So that means like you fly for like 4 hours and then land and fuel up, and
my God.
Like, he had got his hours in.
Right. Now, you've been going on some other adventures that I want to show another video on, Jared, because all kinds of different and a little bit warmer than on the side of the mountain. Let's see if we can get this up and going, and you can see on the
being a lifelong
on your
musician,
other screen.
I've developed a strong sense of care in my sound.
We can talk over this as
constantly
well.
practicing my craft and try and get the best sounds out of my instrument.
Yeah, so this was, I believe, the
grab the attention.
Sonar documentary.
It is. Yes.
It's a Sonar one.
Yes.
Yeah, based on the audio I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And I wish to
it was kind of an interesting thing, like as a drummer and a musician, and really like a content creator, as this is part of what I do. Like most of what I would say 90 to 95% of what I do is, can you hear me still?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Oh, okay. 90 to 95% of what I do is just business management, talking to employees, dealing with bankers, administrative stuff, and then I was looking for something where I would have more of a creative outlet.
Yes.
And so I approached Sonar, I approached Tama, I approached Peisty, and I said, how about we come out to your facility, and how about we not only tell people like how things are made, but really kind of showcase what makes you unique. You know, drums are wood, round pieces of wood with a little bit of metal, mylar on the top and bottom. So what makes Sonar different than any other drum company? What makes Peisty different than any other cymbal company? And really kind of like the whole mindset of people connect with purpose as opposed to products. Right. And I wanted people to kind of see the stories and humanize those brands a little bit more. And so that's kind of that was kind of my creative outlet for that year. It was like, I want to go here, I want to create these documentaries, and it was definitely a bigger project than I originally thought it would be, much bigger. And there's things that I look back on now. You think of like a band recording an album. They'll go back and listen to it and be like, oh, I wish we didn't do that. The songwriting is not, we've gotten so much better. I look back at those now and I think they're so great for their time, but if I got to do them again, man, they would be, they'd be even so much better. And so I had such a good team, a guy named Kyle Trinke, who's the producer, and Victor Guerrera. I think you know Victor.
Sure. Who
is just like, he's I call him my Swiss Army knife, because he's just like, he's good at everything, it seems. Yeah. And so I had a 3-man crew, me and 2 other people, and we went and we filmed documentaries. And so what a great experience though.
It looks it. It looks amazing and a little bit warmer than on the mountain. You're in the field playing the drums, but you've been getting to go all over. Because a lot of folks may think, well, you just sit and play drums all day, but no, you're running a business, right? You're doing a lot of those things that you just mentioned, and I love the idea of these documentaries. You've got Sonar. You went to the Paiste factory as well, and you went to Japan with Tama. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the Tama trip was. I had. I think they asked about what we were doing with the documentaries, or I said, hey, we'd like to do it. And they were like so gung-ho, like more interested than I thought they would be. Because it's a big undertaking for a company. And it's also a little bit like, okay, we're just going to let you come in and film all of our processes. Right. It's pretty, you're kind of like pulling your pants down as a company and showing everyone what you got.
Sure.
So they were so on board, and it worked out that my producer was actually spending a year in Japan. So he was already out there.
Oh, wow.
So just like the stars aligned, and we ended up going to Saito, Japan. That's where the Tama factory is. It was one of the hottest days ever on record.
Wow.
We were having like ice towels on our neck. I've never felt heat like that.
Is that right?
It was crazy, and I had to play drums in that. I just remember after playing drums, you can't see it because I was wearing clothing that didn't show like how wet I was, but I was completely soaked from sweat. And so we did that, and then we actually, part of that documentary is to discuss a little bit about like the culture of Japanese people and taiko drumming. So we rented a temple. And we connected with a taiko group called Taiko Center, and we set up. Thomas sent a kit, and Paiste sent cymbals, and we set up in this temple, and we just jammed out.
Amazing.
And it was so much fun. People don't know how hard taiko drumming is, like on your arms.
So these are the big drums, right? Like bigger than people.
Yeah. After that, like my entire arms were so unbelievably sore, but. It was still a really fun trip.
What kind of sticks are you using to play? It's not regular drumsticks to play these drums.
It's like just longer dowels. Yeah. Heavier sticks. Like they're it's much harder to hold.
Somebody's asking for a shout out. Can you see that on the screen, Jared?
Chico Uraiti? Is that?
I think so.
Yeah, Chico or Urarti.
Hey, Chico, we're giving you a shout out. How's that, right?
There you go.
Excellent. Someone Casey Lobo is asking, can you please share some more on the 26-week course on Bruce Becker, please?
Yeah, so January 2018, we launched Drum Technique Made Easy, which was a course all dedicated to helping people kind of reshape their technique and really become more of themselves on the drum set, because everyone has an idea of what they should sound like in their head. They all have this unique musical personality within them. And in order to unlock that, a lot of that comes down to just having a solid foundation of theory and technique. And so I worked with Bruce Becker, and Bruce, if you don't know him, he is the kind of the understudy of Freddie Gruber. He's kind of the instructor to many, many famous artists that I don't need to list them all, but he's just been really great at learning how to communicate these thoughts and ideas around how to play better on the kit. And so we put together a 26-week course. It's a semester course, and it's open for enrollment now until the end of April. So I believe we are at 22nd. So it's basically open for another 8 days, and then we'll be closing. Yeah, so it'll close down, and then Bruce works with that group of students.
Got it. And that was also. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all based around drum technique. That's all I was going to say.
Got it. And so that was also last year's sort of drumming masterclass, right? And
that was in January. That was our release. We try and do one a year. It's really hard to do any more than that because we just focus on a small amount of things and doing them really, really well.
Right.
And so since then, it hasn't ever been released again. And so this is the second time it's ever been available. And so if anyone's like wondering, oh, should I take the plunge? I would say do it. There's payment plans. You own the content for life. It's in your Drumeo membership, so it's not like it disappears after 6 months. Once you got access, you can go back and utilize those videos whenever you want.
And the same with Todd's, I imagine. His drumming master class would, after it's finished, may be available later in the future to folks as well. Any ideas for next year that you're brewing so far, or any options?
Yeah, I'm actually, I have not published a new course or like my new ideas for a long time, and so I'm working on something now that I'm hoping is going to be ready.
Okay.
And it's more, it's going to be on playing fills and stuff like that, but a little bit different approach.
Okay.
More conceptual, because I find what a lot of people are doing is they're getting sheet music to, like, they got this fill that they saw someone play, so they get it transcribed and then they learn that fill. But that doesn't really teach them anything. And it's fine. I think there's a place for that, and we do it a lot at Drumeo.
Yeah.
But what I want to create is something that more helps people learn how to create their own fills, teaches them concepts that they can then build off of. And hopefully by the end of that, they'll be able to play what's up here, because everyone hears something up here. Sure. And it's just a matter about translating that onto the drum set in a way that sounds musical and good to them. And so I'm working on something like that right now, as well as we're working on some other really cool stuff at Drumeo, just like a new app we're doing, which is going to, it's probably one of the things I'm most excited about now, because I think it's going to change drum education with some of the things that we have. It's going to definitely completely shift how we've been operating. That's
big news right there. Yeah. When might that? I know you guys have been working hard on that, and you're working on that for a while. Any guesses? I know it'll be done when it's done, but any guesses of when you'd like to get that out there?
Well, we know exactly when it's going to be done, and we don't guess. We set hard deadlines and we stick to them.
Okay.
So it's going to soft launch at the end of April to a specific group of users, beta users, and then mid-April it's going to launch to everyone in Drumeo Edge. Or sorry, mid-May.
Mid-May.
I'm all mixed up. End of April it's going to soft launch. Mid-May it'll launch to Drumeo Edge. And then in June, it'll be available to everyone.
That's fantastic.
If you think about the way that people use the desktop website, like Drumeo. Yeah, you can use it on your phone, you can browse it, but it's not the same. And so we want to kind of take advantage of the fact that people have personal computers in their pockets that they could, you could film them. They could film themselves playing something, and get feedback on what they're doing, not in real time, not yet, but close to that. So we want to, instead of saying, here's our website, let's create better tools and solutions for drummers using that. We want to kind of leverage the technology that everyone has in their pocket.
That sounds great. Any other features you can share with us?
A good feature would be, like, we have student focus right now, and that's where students will submit a video of themselves, like a YouTube link, and then we'll review that. It goes into it gets submitted to the application. But it's very kind of fragmented in that students first have to film a video, then they have to find a way to edit it, then they have to put it on YouTube, then they have to submit the link to us. We want it so it's like you're sitting there on your drum set behind there, you're practicing, you have a problem, you pull out your phone, you hit film, you hit submit. It goes into the pool.
I love that.
And then we get back to you. So it's just reducing friction, saving time, giving students the information they need when they need it, personalized to them.
Got it. And is that a possibility for Drumeo Edge members of, like, the monthly collab videos, that might work possibly the same way?
Yeah, down the road, that we
Okay.
could definitely integrate that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Because I know I've got my April thing filmed. I haven't done any editing yet for it. So,
Yeah.
but you're right. That would save a couple of steps, right? So,
Yeah, we've actually scoped it out like where we have it so you could choose a song from like the Drumeo play-alongs, and then you just like allow it to see your camera, and then you can actually you could mix this track over your drums. So you would just set up your phone, play it, then you could say, okay, drums should be that loud, music should be that loud, hit submit.
sweet.
So no editing, nothing. It's just super simple.
That's fantastic. I love that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for you guys because I know you've been working on this for a while. So, any other features that you would want to share with folks that are coming out about
not
it?
right now.
No. Okay.
Because but I will share. We're actually working on another app, a separate app from the Drumeo one.
Okay.
And this is one I'm super excited about as well, because it's going to be for kids. So we're working on a new series of curriculum for the first series of videos is going to be for like ages 2 to 5, and then we're going to work on ages like content for ages 6 to 10.
That's great.
And it's going to be an iPhone and tablet apps and like animated series and stuff like that. And so I'm like commercially, I don't think it's going to make us any measurable or meaningful amount of money, but to me that's totally not the point.
Right.
The point is we need, as a community, we need more people playing drums. Like what you said before, we need more people to start and stay playing drums. And I look at my kids who I have in karate. I have 2 kids, and the reason they're in karate is not because I'm in karate. It's not because my wife is in karate. It's because when we drove into this little town and we went to this restaurant, we saw that there was a dojo right beside it. And we're like, hey, it's close by. It's convenient. We should put our kids in karate.
Sure.
And I think we need that with drums.
Right.
I think we need to make it more accessible. And there's no one really doing that. Like, yeah, we have YouTube, but it's still YouTube I've seen my kids watching some crazy videos that they should not be watching because they're on YouTube.
It's not always kid friendly on YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited about that kids app as well.
That's fantastic. I love that idea because especially most successful musicians that I've had the good fortune to interview tell me one of the main themes in their story was they started at 2 or 5 or whatever. So starting folks young on an instrument, and if they can stick with it, is a great thing, right? So
Yeah,
definitely. Let's take another question from Lars. He's having a problem with hand techniques with the drumsticks to do blast beats with his left hand.
Yeah.
He's asking maybe thinner sticks. From what you can make out of that question, what do you think?
Thinner sticks aren't really going to do anything for you. I think it comes down to really looking at the technique, right? So the fact that he is slow with his left hand and he's no problems with his right, I would look at the right hand and be like, well, what's working there? Why did that right hand get so much faster? Okay. And it's because you use it a lot more. Because it's the one playing probably double or triple the amount of notes. It's the one that you use to brush your teeth. It's the one that you use your mouse at your computer. It's the one that you use to write with. You just have more freedom and dexterity with it because you use it way more. What I did to even out my hands was really, and they're never going to be even, but I practiced finger control. So where I really just focused on only the finger muscles. Then I practiced on wrist control and basically just like groups of 4 in each hand. So you could just do fingers, groups of 4, and then just do wrists, groups of 4. Go as fast as your left hand can go with the metronome, because don't go as fast as your right hand can go because your left hand won't be able to keep up. And just this simple exercise, like there's only so much I can do on this Facebook Live for that person, but I would say if that's all you do for the next like 30 or 60 days, do it 10 or 20 minutes a day, you're going to just notice massive improvements over how much better your left hand is going to become for blast beats or really whatever.
Right.
It's not really only about playing blasts.
Sure. Yeah, for any kind of drumming, right?
Yeah.
Alex Ann is saying, loves the idea for the kids' drums lessons. Sounds great. Can't wait to see it. There you go.
Yeah.
Some focus group action going on right there, right? So, very
I love
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. This series of videos we were working with these content creators from Calgary, and they're so good at writing. They wrote a bunch of exclusive music, just like kids songs, for the series, and all the animation they've done is just really, really cool. So
amazing. Remind everybody, because I know we've talked about this before. How old were you when you first picked up the sticks?
I was 15, so a little bit later than I wasn't 2 years old. And
right.
I wonder what it would be like if I did start when I was 2.
Right.
But I look at my kids now, and they're 8 and 6, and they know I play drums, and they hold the sticks and tap on the practice pad, but it hasn't really gone any further than that for them.
Yeah, so they're more into the karate or other things. Drums, not so much.
Yeah, they're into playing Minecraft on their iPads.
Well, we got to have priorities, Jared, right? I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Lars is saying he was 5. Anybody else want to share in the chat, in the hang, how old they were when they first started drumming? Let us know that. Let's play a little bit of a game, Jared. Do a round robin with you, a musical word association game of some folks that you have had in. Because did you ever think from where you started 7+ years ago, you would have these absolute legends come into your studio and teach not only you guys, you and Dave and Mike McAlco are great drummers yourselves, but these legends coming into your studio and teaching, right?
Yeah, I never would have thought.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. So let's just do a sort of a word association, anything that comes up for you, any stories, memories, whatever. Let's start with Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffat.
Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffat. Charisma. He is, man, the guy has this, when he walks into the room, you can kind of feel there's presence and charisma.
Yeah. And if folks haven't seen this, check it out. Just do a Google search for Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffat on Drumeo. He is like a drum ninja, this guy. He's got cymbals all around him, and he's just hitting stuff behind him, and I don't know how he does it. It's amazing.
Yeah, he had to like really position those, and he sets them up, and he like will practice and make sure everything's cool, because if you think about doing that, like his whole like center of gravity and how he sits, it has to be the same.
Right. If
he all of a sudden shifts, and then he's going to cut himself or just completely miss, right? He never missed.
He never did, right? How about Russ Miller?
Russ Miller. Very soft spoken, but I would say he's a beast. Yeah. There's a reason why he plays on everything. Right. He plays like on movie scores, he plays for famous artists, he plays for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Amazing drummer. Tony Royster Jr., one of the earlier ones, right?
Yeah, I'd say intimidated. That's what I was when I first saw him, and just got to meet him. And after you meet him, he's super nice and friendly, and he. But originally, I always tell people he was like a child prodigy star, and throughout his whole life, everyone when they meet him, they're just trying to like get a piece of him, or like do this for me or do that for me, and so he is seems a little bit slight. He's definitely reserved when he meets new people, because he has to be protective over people that are just trying to exploit him.
Sure.
So yeah, he was great, but also I was very intimidated.
Yeah. Well, and another guy who I believe is one of his mentors as well, Dennis Chambers.
Mm-hmm. Dennis Chambers. Yeah. Again, what would I say about that? That's legend, man. Dennis, I couldn't even believe that he came here, but he's legend.
Yeah. Legend is a good word. Another guy, let's just do a couple more. Thomas Lang. Thomas Lang,
bionic.
Yeah, right. He really is, isn't he? Yeah.
It's just, I know you've had him on the show before,
I have.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's such a great musician and person. That's my thing with him, is like how down to earth he was.
Yeah.
You know, he speaks multiple languages.
Yeah.
He's a successful business person as well as just an incredible drummer, like world class.
Yeah, and just makes everything look just super easy, right? It's no question.
Yeah.
Dom Famulero.
Energy.
Yeah.
Energy. Yeah, man, that guy, I can't believe it. And he's been going for however many years,
Right.
30, 40 years.
Right.
You know, great energy and storyteller.
Yeah.
It's good at both of those things.
Right. Incredible teacher. And you guys are having him back out soon, right?
Yeah, I think he comes out like next week.
Right.
I got to talk to him about that and figure out what we're going to do.
I'm sure he will come up with something, I'm sure. Marco Miniman.
Marco Minimum, Animal. I think he reminds me of like the crazy animal thing behind the drum set.
Yeah.
But he's also, I would say, precise. Animal and precise.
Yeah. And one more, Tommy Igo.
Confident. Anyone who knows Tommy, it's like he's confident in his playing, his teaching, who he is as a person. He's very, very confident.
Yeah. And the lineage he has, you know, with his dad, right? Another incredible drumming family there. Who hasn't been on the show yet on Drumeo that you would love to also have?
Well, someone said it here. Georgie said Vinny Colaiuta.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to have Vinny.
Sure.
So that's him. There is Steve Gadd, Dave Weckl, guys like Travis Barker. I would love to have out. Carter Beauford.
Yeah.
Who else? Chris Coleman. Man, so many. Like people think we've had everyone. Like we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Right. There's so many, and we haven't even mentioned. Yeah.
These AirPods are dying.
Oh, okay, got it. And we haven't even mentioned Ringo or Charlie or anybody else like that,
Exactly.
right? So they're all invited too, right?
Everyone's invited. Yeah. You know, we're having Greg Bissonette was on the list, and now we're having him in September, I think.
Awesome.
Keith Carluck was on the list, but we're having him in May.
Nice.
Who else are we inviting out? Man, we got lots of great artists.
Yeah,
planned.
no question. And of course, there's Steve Jordan, Jojo Mayer. All I mean, there's a ton of them, right? Someone was asking when is there the ideal age for a kid to start taking drum lessons? Alex Ann.
My approach with kids is that when they want to do it, they're going to do it, and I'm not like, for my kids, I'm not going to push it on them. If I would, like, I put them in karate and they really liked it, so then we keep going. And now that they've decided that they're going to go, now I'll make a stand and say, okay, now you have to go because it's something you said you're going to do. But if they're not gravitated towards something, actually, my son said something to me the other day that was the most disappointing thing I've ever heard. And I have like an acoustic guitar at home, and all the strings are wrecked and everything. He's like, Daddy, can you get that acoustic guitar fixed so I can play it? I'm like, son, you want to be a guitar player? You're not disowned.
Right. You could probably hook him up with Nate Savage for guitar lessons, right?
Exactly. No, I love guitar players, but yeah. So he asked about that, and so that's something that I'll support him there, because that's like, my parents were never drummers. My parents weren't even really musicians. I just said I wanted to play drums, and they just helped. They were facilitators and supporters, and I really appreciate that.
Sure. Yeah, and you've also got guitar. Is it Guitario and pianote as part of that your empire that is building there? Do you also play any other instruments yourself?
I would say I understand like the basics of the other instruments. Okay. So I can play the basic chords on guitar, the basic strumming patterns. I can play basic chording on piano, read sheet music at a very, very basic level, but that's pretty much it. I'm not a piano player or a guitarist.
Although piano is a percussive instrument, right? Do you see it that way? I kind of, at least I can do
Totally.
quarter notes on it, right?
Well, but if you understand chording and how to like move around the keyboard, you as a drummer, you could say, okay, I'm going to play like a paradiddle with the two hands, and you can come up with some really cool rhythmic and melodic compositions.
Love that.
Just by having a small understanding of piano, but being someone who just plays drums primarily, because it is an instrument that you hit.
Right. Absolutely. And a lot of drummers that I talk with also play different instruments as well, personally, that I know. The whole Dave Grohl thing where you can play the drums incredible and play guitar and sing. For those who don't know about piano and guitarrio, please tell us about that.
Yeah, so piano is we have an instructor named Lisa Witt, and Lisa has many, many years of experience teaching privately. And she's also a fantastic vocalist. So she taught vocal and piano lessons. And she basically, in the last year, completely overhauled our curriculum. We call it our foundations curriculum. And she put together this very, very, like, it's not about a ton of videos. It's about getting people to the point of playing the music they love as quickly as possible. And so she put together this entirely new curriculum. And the success on it has just been huge. Like, students are just absolutely loving it. Nice. And so if you sign up for piano, it's similar to Drumeo in that you pay, I think it's $29 a month or $197 a year. And you get access to that foundation curriculum, which kind of keeps track of where you're at, what level piano player you are. And then you get access to the courses that we release, the guests that we have out, and we do weekly live Q&As where we answer student questions and stuff like that. And so there's that, and then guitarrio, it has this foundational curriculum as well. It's a really kind of active community. So if you go into guitarrio and like check out the forum, we do monthly collaborations similar to Drumeo. Okay. They're regularly doing Q&A sessions to answer, give personalized advice to students, and but it's really like we call them social learning communities. It's really about learning together with other people who are also learning and having similar problems, and then we build community that way. Absolutely. And so, none of the piano and guitarrio, I would say they're not as far along as Drumeo, because Drumeo has been around for so much longer. Sure. But every day we're adding new videos and doing new things. So those communities are just growing so much, and they're such great places to hang out for piano players and guitarists.
Well, that's one of the things I really love about what you've created with Drumeo and now guitarrio and piano. It is that sense of community with folks, and that, it is not judgmental. It's like we're all at the level we're at. We're all with the intention of growing and learning and doing this instrument we love, whatever that is. So kudos to you for doing that. It's an amazing job that you've done that with that. So.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You want to play another video?
Yeah, sure.
I do. We got a few minutes left, right?
Yep.
And this one was especially close to my heart because these are the cymbals that I also play with the Paiste. Here you are in a field again. I don't know if the drum set is here, but this is the...
We're going to get...
Now, you are hanging out with cows. This is Switzerland, Jared, right? In Paiste?
This is Switzerland, so I'm not seeing it yet because there's a little bit of lag.
Oh, okay, a little bit of delay.
But I know what you're showing now that you said it.
Yes.
So this was when we were invited to go to Switzerland to check out Paiste. Paiste, the warehouse actually is on, I forget the lake, but it's got a lakefront view. Wow. And just down the hill. And in between the lake and the warehouse, there's a high-speed train that that people take to commute into the city.
Amazing.
And it's crazy, right? Yeah. So you're in the countryside beside all these cows. Yeah. And then there's the high-speed train. Then there's the beautiful lake, and then behind that, it wasn't totally clear because it was there's some fog or whatever. But behind that was the Swiss Alps. Which you can't really see.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to play, we asked if we could find a spot where we could play with the Swiss Alps in the background,
beautiful,
and in a field. And so they contacted the farmer next door, and the farmer was kind enough to let us go in his field, and we brought all the stuff there, and yeah, it was crazy. The cows they're very curious, right?
I was wondering, how did the cows feel about this?
Originally, they were kind of running away, but by the end of it, like the noise did not bother them. They were coming closer and closer, and I was kind of like a little bit nervous at some points because I thought, what if they all of a sudden just charge? Right. It's like, what am I going to do?
Oh my God!
Hide behind my drum set?
Right, but they were interested because I think you've got such a good groove, Jared. You just brought them in, right? They were, and I don't really think cows thankfully attack too often, so that's a good news. Yeah, it looks amazing. I want to, for anybody who hasn't seen this, check it out online on YouTube or Drumeo. It's a very, very cool thing.
This is what Swiss.
Thank you.
Swiss money.
Absolutely. And any sort of memories, you talked about sort of the sweating part in Japan. Any sort of memories about your time with Paiste come to mind, in addition to the cows?
Honestly, the best memories I have of Paiste were we were there invited by Eric and Kelly Paiste. So, I mean, they have the name, their last name is the name on the cymbals, right? And their house was really close to the factory, and Kelly made these incredible meals, these dinners, and we would go sit outside with a view on their patio with a view of the Swiss Alps and the lake, and after the end of the day of working, we would just eat and drink wine, and
amazing.
And I mean, the people for both, like for Germany, for Japan, and for Switzerland. For me, it's always about the people. It's always about the relationships. Yes, drums and music is cool, but what kind of like makes this cool is that we can connect with people, and so.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And that's what we like to do with these live hangs. You've been a Paiste guy, and let's actually clarify for anybody who. Because I've heard that it can be a nightmare with the pronunciation, but it's like feisty, it's Paiste, right?
Yeah, it's Paiste.
It's Paiste, yeah. So, yeah, that is clarified. You've been a Paiste guy for a long time, right?
Yeah, I think it was like probably my second endorsement. I think Evans Drumheads were the first, and then Paiste. I sent them a note through their website, and like 6 months later, they got back to me and they said, "Hey, sure, let's do something." And,
amazing.
That was a start. And anyone listening or watching that was wondering about drum endorsements, I would say really focus on getting connected with the company and growing the relationship over time, and always really focusing on how you can provide them with a better result. And most companies, what are they looking for? More product or brand awareness and to increase sales. And so my job as someone who's endorsing their brand, I have to provide that result for them. Otherwise, what good am I, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's really more about what can you do for the company, not necessarily what they can do for you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a couple of more questions before we wrap. Anybody have any drum-related questions for Jared? What's the best stick, in your opinion, to use in pop rock?
I'd like the 55A, the Vic Firth 55A. I've been experimenting more with the ProMark sticks, especially the Fire Grain. I was really impressed with them. Yeah. You know, I got them when I went to the ProMark factory years ago, and I put them all to the test. I ended up breaking all of them eventually, but it took me a long time.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, I play a little bit every day, so and I don't hit lightly, but yeah. So anything like any 5A or 5B, like I'm really, when it comes to sticks, like I will use anything. I'm not that picky. I don't like a 7A, but if that's all there was, I would happily use it.
Because it's just too thin, the 7A?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Too thin, yeah.
Yeah, and those can break a lot easier. So, female drummers, some of your favorite ones?
First of all, Bob Katz, what kind of question is this? Can you put his question up?
Yeah, I will. Here we go.
Hey, Does Jared appreciate female drummers that are better for himself? What is this supposed to mean? Is he trying to would I ever say no? Like, of
Right.
course, I appreciate any drummers regardless of the gender, whether they're better than me or not. I mean, a lot of people are jealous when drummers are better than them. It's like, I just think it's fantastic.
Right. It's inspiring, right?
It's totally inspiring. And plus, the longer I play drums and the more that I feel like in the past 5 years, me caring less about what other people think about my drumming has allowed me to develop more of my own style and sound. Not that I'm there yet, not that I've achieved anything there, but I feel like I don't really look at other people now as much and say, okay, what about me in comparison to them? Because if you do that, it's like if I look at any female drummer or male drummer, and I'll just try and appreciate them for who they are and what they're contributing. But I'm not going to say, oh, I want to do that, because what do we need another clone of them for?
Sure.
And what? So, yeah, I don't really look at that and compare. So, sorry, Bob.
Right. But I mean, we've certainly mentioned a lot of male drummers today. Let's fair that up a little bit to give the women some love as well. Who are some of your favorite female drummers?
Well, we just had Taylor Gordon out here at Drumeo. She's known as the Pocket Queen online. Annika Niles is obviously great. Emmanuel Caplet. I would love to have her out.
Yes.
And it's just, so I mean, then there's the staples. I would say Sheila E. and Cindy Blackman.
Yeah.
But there's so many great female drummers.
Right. Yeah, no question. Right. And you enjoy more dark or brilliant cymbals, and why?
This really depends on what you're playing. Yeah. So I have around, man, I don't even want to admit how many cymbals I have, but I don't just go dark. I like one thing I liked about Paiste is that when everyone else in the cymbal world was going dark, everyone was, dark is the thing. Everyone should go, super trashy, and that Paiste still kept their brilliant lines of the signature full crashes are very brilliant sounding, and I just love that. I love that crystal clear sound, and so I wouldn't necessarily use it all the time for everything. It doesn't work for everything, but I would say for dark cymbals, for a lot of drummers put them everywhere on their kit, every cymbal is a dark cymbal, and now that becomes almost like their sound. But I find that all drummers are doing it now, or a lot of drummers, not all, that we're getting a lot of people that are sounding the same. So I wish dark cymbals were you have one dark cymbal on your kit or two dark cymbals, but it's not like an entire cymbal set where everything is super dark, because now this is how do you get any other sound than that? How do you know you're going to be playing music that requires only dark cymbal sounds?
Sure, exactly. Yep. Jared, this has been a blast. I know we're at our time. I really enjoy always hanging out with you. I'm going to invite you. Let's do it again next year. What do you say?
Yeah,
we'll go
every year, man.
Every year we'll check in with you and what's happening at Drumeo. I love it. So
let's do it.
Thanks for everybody for hanging out with us in the chat. Even if you're watching this in the replay, make a comment, send in your question to Jared. We'll read that and monitor that. I'm super excited about the app that's coming out, in the stages, April, May, and June. I'm going to be definitely looking for that. And Jared, you're doing fantastic work in the world with Drumeo.com. Thank you, Jared Falk, for being on Musicians on the Record.
Thank you so much, David.
Always a pleasure. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next year is what we'll do, right?
Yes. 100%.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.